Everybody talks about consistency. We hear it all the time. Just be consistent. Consistency is the key. You got to be consistent. But if it was that easy, you probably wouldn't be watching this video and I wouldn't be making this video. So today I want to talk about consistency. For the past couple of months, I haven't been that consistent with my YouTube channel, so maybe it's a bit strange for me to talk about consistency now, but I gotta say I wasn't making a lot of new YouTube videos because it wasn't my priority for now. However, I've been building a really nice relationship with myself, and I think I managed to find what works for me. Because I finally started doing my workouts regularly. I go to the gym 3 times a week. I do yoga practice 2-3 times a week. I finally started to do my morning exercise every morning. I study languages regularly. I spend way less time online just scrolling, and I finally started trying out all those recipes I've been saving and I wanted to try but couldn't find the time to try them. Now I'm also trying to start meditation and I want to become more consistent with my YouTube channel. So I thought in this video I'd just share what has been helping me stay consistent with what really matters to me. I hope this video helps you as well. So before we start, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel because I'm planning to be more consistent. We often think that consistency is about discipline, about waking up early, doing it perfectly, never missing a day, but it's not. Consistency is not a performance. It's a quiet agreement that we make with ourselves that no matter what happens, we return. And I think one of the main reasons why people struggle to stay consistent is because they think that if they miss a day or two, it means they have to start over again and again. And really, you don't have to start over. You just need to continue to come back. And I've been there too. I've tried to learn so many things: coding, different dancing styles, different languages, playing the guitar, drawing, many things, and I would always get excited, make a plan, do it for a day or two or maybe a week, and then I'd skip one day, then maybe two, and suddenly I just quit and I feel like a failure. Instead of just continuing, I'd convince myself that I have to start over again because I haven't been consistent, I skipped a few days, I forgot what I learned, so I have to start over, I have to start again, and it always feels exhausting and less exciting, and at the end I just quit. And I told myself, well, I guess I'm not consistent, or I guess it's not my thing. But the truth is, you don't need to start over again. As I said, you just need to come back. If I had simply continued without trying to be perfect, I'd reach so many results in many of those things, because progress doesn't come by being flawless or by being perfect. It always comes from returning again and again. So this video is not going to give you any hacks or tricks or how to wake up at 5 a.m. and have time for everything, but I'll share some really good things, like 10 things that help me stay consistent and hopefully will help you as well. So let's begin. And I want to start with planning, because I used to think that planning meant filling your to-do list with a lot of to-do things, and it actually never worked for me. When I tried to fill my to-do list and stay on schedule, it never worked. I either burned out or I simply ignored half of my list. Now I learned how to plan differently. I just write down a few main priorities for myself, the things that will actually move something forward and not just check the box stuff. And I try to do those things, the priority things, first when I still have energy, and I don't waste this energy to small tasks that can be performed on autopilot, let's say. I do my main priorities first. I also never plan by hour, like I never write down like 10 o'clock I have a workout, 11 o'clock I have this work tasks to do, and so on, because this never works for me. This is just not how I live, And instead of planning by hour, I just create kind of a container with a list of things I want to get done, and I do them in a way that feels good for me. I'd say I'm quite a spontaneous person, and planning hour by hour, day by day is not a good idea for me because things change a lot. So I just plan one day ahead and I write down my main priorities. And also, another important thing to do is not to write down things that you already know you're gonna do anyway, because it just clutters your to-do list and it makes you lose the focus on what you really want to do. For example, I've already got this habit of doing my morning exercise, so I don't have to write it down into my to-do list anymore. I'll do it anyway without reminders, without, I don't know, thinking about it. It's a habit already, right? Or going to the gym. I'm not writing it down because I know I'll do it anyway. I go 3 times a week. I know when I do it. I don't have to write it down into my to-do list. To-do list only for those things you absolutely have to do, and it's not something you do anyway. Let's say you do already. It's something you can skip because you procrastinate, something you can postpone to another day because you've been lazy today or something like that. So I know this is not gonna work for everybody because everybody has different lifestyle, different jobs and so on, but for me, very soft planning is what really works. If I try to fit my life into the schedule, it never works, and I always break this schedule, and then I feel bad about myself. So it's much better for me to just create a focus list, let's say, instead of a to-do list. So again, it's not to say that this is something that's gonna work for you, but what I'd really recommend is trying out different planning techniques for a week, let's say, and seeing how it works for you, because maybe you try to plan and do everything right, but this is just something that doesn't work for you and you need to try something else. But I believe that planning is important because without it you also can lose your focus, so you need something to create this focus for yourself. Now, the next thing to do, I used to romanticize the result, my dream body, my perfect English accent or fluent Croatian, and I would picture a version of myself that made it, and I tried to chase her. But honestly, that just made me feel distant from myself, like I've always been behind and trying to catch up. So now I do the opposite. I romanticize the process, not the result. Not what I want to become, but what I am becoming right now. When I train, I think about how my body feels, how strong I am at this moment, and I don't think about what it will look like in a month or a year from now, because it's a very long time. If we're doing something just for the result, and the result, it takes time, we are probably going to give up. Why? Because we're not in love with what it feels like to do it. We're in love with what it might look like in 6 months. But 6 months, it's a long time to force yourself through something you hate doing. Let's look at this example. We see that a girl online who learned 5 languages in a couple of years, or that fitness instructor who transformed in 3 months. But I'm not her or not him, and I have a different life, and my nervous system is different. I function differently, and maybe for me it's going to take much longer than for them to reach that result. So whenever I think about, wow, I want this result too, I should also think like, will I enjoy the process of reaching this result? Will this be something I really love? And would I still want to do it if it takes me 5 years, for example, to learn 5 languages? Or, I don't know, if it takes me a year to transform my body, not 3 months? We should think about it for ourselves. Making the moment feel good is really a good idea. You don't have to do everything perfectly, that's not what I'm saying. You just need to do it more pleasant for yourself. For example, if you need to drink protein, you can get yourself a nice cute glass that you'll enjoy drinking from. Or if you want to do yoga or meditation, you maybe have a small ritual, light up a candle, I don't know, create a corner for yourself where you can do it, or buy yourself a nice notebook for your language learning. When this moment it feels good for you, your brain, or you start to associate it with safety and with pleasure and with your identity. And when something feels good to do, it's much easier to come back to it, and you will come back to it. And not because you have to do it, but because you want to do it. So maybe just think about it. What's one thing you could romanticize, just little? One thing that you're trying to stay consistent with, but you fail to do it. How to make it more pleasant for yourself. The next thing is habit stacking, and that's one of my favorite consistency tricks. Actually, the one trick I believe in, and I've talked about it previously in my language learning videos, but you've probably heard about this. I believe it's from the Atomic Habits, I'm not sure. However, I haven't even read this book, but I just started doing this kind of naturally because it just made sense, you know. Basically, habit stacking is attaching a new habit to the one you are already doing, and that's the easiest way to make it stick, especially when your brain goes like, oh, not today. For example, for me it could look like this. Every morning I have my morning coffee. With morning coffee I could just scroll Instagram feed. Instead, I would review my flashcards, or review the words I wrote down, or maybe read a book in a foreign language, in Croatian or German. It's really simple, it's cozy, and because I love my morning coffee ritual, I keep showing up for the habit too. I keep reviewing my flashcards, I keep learning a language every day. Or another example, if I go grocery shopping or I just walk alone, I'm always listening to a podcast, most likely in a foreign language. It's like 90% of the time. So I kind of have this combo, a walk, a movement, yeah, language exposure, and some fresh air. So you kind of combine two habits and it becomes a system for you. And honestly, most of us say we don't have time for something, but in reality, we're just spending a lot of this time on our phones nowadays. It's not about everybody, but most of us really. Like, how many people scroll for 30 minutes before they even get out of their bed, or with their morning coffee, or on a work break, or before they fall asleep? If we switch these scroll moments with something really useful, it can feel so good. I don't want to say that social media are so evil and we shouldn't spend any time on it, but not as much time as we're spending for sure. And a lot of this time could be used much better, in a much better way than scrolling on social media. Another thing you could do is to switch your why when your brain says no. Like, I don't want to. Okay, but why did you want it in the first place? This one is a little bit more about mindset, and let's be honest, mindset is not something we can change overnight. Our thinking patterns, they were built over years, and we can shift them, but one moment at a time. What usually happens is you're like, I don't want to go to the gym, and your brain, what it does, it starts helping you right away. It says, yeah, you're tired, just stay home, or let's go tomorrow, or it's so cold outside. And your brain is not evil, it's just doing what it is used to do, protecting you from discomfort, even if that discomfort is the exact thing that will make you feel better later. So in moments like this, I try to switch my why. Instead of like, I don't want to, I say, but why I wanted it in the first place. And I know that I want to feel strong, I want to feel good in my body, I want to look good, I want to feel proud of myself for doing it. And I 100% know that after the workout, I'll feel amazing. I'll feel so much better than I do now, even if I'm super comfortable at my bed or on my sofa. So instead of forcing your motivation, like saying you have to do it, you have to be consistent, and so on, I just try to shift my way of thinking. And instead of thinking like I don't want to do this, I try to think like, okay, but I want what it gives me. I want to feel good. I want this. And that small shift in your thinking can really change a lot. And it's not about feeling guilty. Yeah, it's just about reminding yourself of who you are becoming and why it matters to you. Another thing that I believe will help a lot of people is understanding that we are human and we can have long days, we can have low energy days and bad days, and we can be tired, and we should allow ourselves slow days and we should know when to rest. This is something that would protect people from burning out, because why do we burn out? Because we don't allow ourselves to rest when we need it. Lately, I've been seeing a shift online, and honestly, I really like it. More and more people are starting to show what real life looks like, not just curated morning routines or static gym clips, but all those in between moments, like I scrolled for an hour and I didn't go to the gym moments, or I didn't feel like doing anything today. And that's important because that's also real. So what we should understand is we shouldn't idealize the process. Yes, we can romanticize the process and make it feel good for us, but don't expect every day to look like a Pinterest reel. Because some days you'll be tired, and some days your brain just won't cooperate, and some days it's not motivation what will be missing, but capacity. And that's absolutely okay, especially for women. We live in cycles and we should be closer to our nature. And there are weeks when we're full of energy and motivation, and there are days when we are just like want to lie down and do nothing. So, yeah, it is really, really important to let yourself rest. However, sometimes it can get tricky. Sometimes it's hard to say whether your body says like, I'm really tired, please rest, or when it says, let's stay comfortable and avoid the effort. So maybe just be careful about this. Maybe ask yourself, if someone invited me for a dinner right now, would I magically have the energy to get ready and to go? If your answer is yes, maybe you're not that tired. If your answer is no, get this rest. Now remember, your future self is tired. Help her out or help him out. You know what I've noticed? Half of the time we don't do something not because we're lazy, but because it just takes so much effort to prepare for it. And before even taking this first step, there is another like zero step that you can take. Like I have 100% skipped my language learning sessions just because I didn't know which resource to use or what kind of activity to do or how to study the language today. So I felt like, okay, I want to study German, but where do I start today? What do I do? Do I look for a video and I start searching for the video and I get tired by the time I find the right video, or I don't have the resources ready, I don't know what to do, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go get some coffee and scroll maybe Instagram. So what I found working for myself is preparing these things in advance. So when I'm ready to start, when this spark is here, I can start right away. I don't have to look for resources. I don't have to pack my gym bag before I go to the gym and so on. So if you want to go to the gym, just pack your bag in advance. Put your gym clothes, your water bottle, your resistant band, everything you need there, so it's nice and ready, and whenever you want to go to the gym, you can just take your bag and go. Or if you want to learn a language, spend some time structuring the resources, your study plan, so when you are ready to study your language, you can just open the right resource and not spend an hour just looking for the right one. But also don't overdo it, because I actually love preparing resources, maybe a little too much sometimes, and I sometimes spend more time researching, preparing all of these resources than actually studying. So yeah, don't overdo it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need a perfect system. You just need the one that is ready when you are ready to go. Another thing that can help you show up more often is telling someone you're going to do it. So okay, I've tried a lot of things in my life, as I said, like a lot. I tried to learn how to code, painting, drawing, dancing, playing the guitar, playing the piano, and I could list it like for a long time. Every time I would tell someone, I'd share it with my friends, with my relatives, send a photo to my mom, and say like, hey, I'm doing this, and then as it would often happen, I'd stop, and maybe after a week, maybe after two, a month, but I would always stop and quit. And eventually people just stopped taking me seriously. Like, oh, you're doing something new again, cool, how long will this one last? Or, well, we'll see how long it takes for you, and so on. And I won't lie, it didn't really feel good. And at some point, I'd started seeing myself as someone who can't stick to anything, who is inconsistent, and who can't reach a good result at something. But then I just realized, no, it's not true. It's not who I am. Those things I tried, maybe they were not right for me. That's why I didn't stay consistent, and I haven't found my thing yet. Now I can say with confidence that I'm consistent with language learning, with the gym, with yoga. I do these things regularly. I show up and I don't quit. So maybe you're like me. You need to tell it to someone and to share it with someone in order to keep showing up more. Maybe it will give you more motivation, or maybe not. Maybe instead you want to keep it to yourself and enjoy your little hobby. But if you also tried like 10 different things, 20 different things, and you quit all of them, it doesn't mean you are inconsistent. Maybe you were searching and you are still searching for the right thing, and that's okay. It's much better to try them all than not to try any of them. But yeah, here is when gentle accountability comes in. Sometimes if you share it with someone, you're like your closest person, maybe your friend, you make it feel more real, and you're more likely to show up again, because people will ask you, if it's somebody who cares about you, they will ask you, hey, how is your guitar lessons going? Can you play this song for me? And so on. And you will want to play this song for a person, or you will want to tell them something about your new hobby or new thing you're trying to do. For example, I like it when people ask me about things I do. It motivates me, it makes me feel like someone is watching, someone cares, and it's nice. And sometimes I can also find like-minded people. Like, for example, I found people who also try to learn Croatian online, and it's also cool. You can find someone you can do it together with if you share it with the world. Another important thing I realized that it wasn't the tasks themselves that I was doing, but the way how I was doing them that made me unproductive and inconsistent. We should remember that we are not robots, and we can't just switch from one activity to another activity and be super productive in both of them. So I would try time blocking previously. I would try different activities in a row, like yoga, then Spanish lesson, then answering emails, then editing. And it sounds great on paper, like so productive, so planned. But when you actually try to do that all, like I crash, honestly. So what I found really useful is creating some gentle transitions in between tasks, so that my brain, my nervous system can readjust to a new activity. Don't try to do everything in a row. Do these small breaks where you can like reset your mind, your body. For example, I'd have a coffee or do a short stretch session, like 5 minutes, no more. Or maybe what I've been doing recently is I just go out to my balcony and I spend 3-5 minutes just looking out from my balcony, people watching, I don't know, sky watching. It really helps. Another very important thing to realize to avoid failure is to understand, is it really your real desire? Is it what you really want? Or maybe it's something you just saw online and you thought you wanted it, but in reality you don't. I'd say social media can really inspire us nowadays. We can see something, we can see how people reach amazing results in a lot of things, get inspired and want these same results and want to become those people basically, or have what they have. And when this happens, it's important to understand that it's not your real desire. It's something you saw somewhere and you just thought it looked cool, but usually in those moments we don't think about what it takes to reach this result, and usually it takes a lot of work. And if you are not going to enjoy or like this kind of work, you probably won't reach that result, and that means that you don't want this. That's also why I think it's so important to experiment with things and try different things, because you're allowed to try a new hobby and drop it, and you're allowed to change your mind, and you're allowed to realize that, I know, you like one thing and you don't like another thing. That's not inconsistency, that's how you find what fits you personally. And once you find this something that you actually genuinely enjoy, you can start build it up into your life, not because it's trendy or because everyone else does it, but because it lights something up inside you. And the last important thing is how you spend your evenings or how you end your day. Evenings used to be the hardest part of my day. I mean, it's not hard, but it was hard for me because I would scroll for hours before I fall asleep in my bed, and just tapping, watching, jumping between reels, not really enjoying it, just escaping something, I don't know, boredom. And it maybe felt like rest, but in reality I never woke up rested. My brain was full of noise because of that, and my body was still tense, my sleep was bad, and I'd wake up tired. Now I do something different. There are still nights when I would pick up my phone and scroll for a bit, but it's nothing like it was before, because now most of the time I try to read before I sleep, or I just lay down and think about something, or I just talk to my partner and have a conversation, and that's all I do. Maybe have a cup of green tea or herbal tea before sleep, but not trying to overload my brain with all of this unnecessary information that comes from my phone. And I swear it makes such a huge difference if you're like me and you spend lots of time on your phone before going to sleep. If you try to change this habit, it will change a lot, because I sleep so much better now and I wake up rested, and I realized it wasn't like that I didn't sleep enough. My evenings were not working for me to sleep well. When you wake up tired and without energy, it's much less likely that you will want to do the things you planned to do. But when you wake up with a lot of energy in the morning, you're ready to conquer the world. You're ready to do the things you want to do. So I highly recommend creating a small nighttime routine for yourself. It doesn't have to be a big ritual, candles and all of these nice aesthetic rituals we see online. Just do something simple, like just read a book, or maybe call your mom, I don't know, talk to someone, or maybe write a gratitude journal. Again, don't make your evening a list of to-do things that you have to do before you sleep. It's not going to work out for you. Maybe it will, I don't know, but I don't really believe so. Just do something that will make yourself feel good, feel calm and ready to sleep. So if you're on this journey of becoming more consistent, more grounded and more in tune with yourself, I hope something in this video resonated with you. One of the main thoughts I think I want to give you is that no person is the same. We are all different, and don't compare yourself to anyone, and don't believe anyone who says you have to do this, this, and this, and then you will be consistent, because we are all different and different things work for us. So you can try different things and see what works for you and what doesn't work for me. Here I shared what works for me. Maybe you can try something out, and I believe some things are really good for most of the people, like slowing down in the evening or habit stacking. But still, don't take it as the only truth, and try it for yourself. And remember that you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to follow every single habit every day. You just need to keep coming back. If this video gave you even a tiny spark of motivation, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.